Well, this morning we're off to get a new toy for the tractor and help do a bit of maintenance on the property, so we'll go down to Nambour to pick it up and catch up with you later. Checklist for the side. Check, 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 check. Trimming the PTO shaft. Failure to do so. Let me know. Before it gets any heavier, let's see if we can turn it around. Fortunately, Simon from next door came in to give me a hand with the spanner work and the assembly, and it did speed things up quite nicely, and some of these panels were quite heavy, so just as well. Overall, I was pretty impressed with the build quality on this thing. It's a Canadian company, Woodland Mills, and it was all very heavy, very well finished, and extremely well built. So quite happy with the purchase. And this is what the business side of it looks like. The in-feed roller is a hydraulic motor, and this one instead of mechanical. The speed control for the in-feed roller is on the top left there, and the hydraulic motor can be seen there towards the bottom right. It makes for a much better feed in, particularly for larger or hard timbers. You can slow the speed down so it's not forcing it in too hard. All in all, very efficient. Now that I've got this thing assembled, it's time to get it suitable to fit to the tractor, and one of the problems I'm having is that the A-frame quick hitch that I have on the for the tractor here, it does not line up with the pin here, so a little bit of modification to be done. That's the next job. So one of the jobs I have to do now is to cut these lower ones off nice and flush and move them a little further up, and that's going to take a little bit of grinding because I did a good job of welding them on. So I'll see what I can do about cutting them off. That's the next job. Now I've got to tack weld the lugs onto the A-frame That should hold it until I can check it. Well, first we're going to start with a reciprocating saw. It's a little bit less noisy and easier to use than the chainsaw. On the smaller stuff I just got to clean up all these messy little twigs and branches before I can put them through the chipper. But let's see how it goes. At this early stage of the game I wasn't too sure what would go through the chipper or not. I later learned that in fact you just grab it all and chuck it in, and it takes quite an enormous amount of stuff in through the throat of the chipper. Pressing the PTO button at idle produces quite a lot of vibration. Once the revs go up, everything gets much more civilized. of the problems I have with all oil chippers, I suppose, is when you feed in a bit of green, fresh timber, like this one. For instance, red bark and the sap can be a bit sort of greasy, and the angle of this one's not helping either. It's jamming in the throat, so I've got to turn it over until you get the right angle so that it can bite in, and then away it goes. Of course, you're always going to get one which is going to be a bit awkward, the wrong shape, and just does not want to go in. So you hit the reverse, which is the red bar in the front there, it reverses the feed roller, to pin it out and do it over again the other way. It works very well. This is actually quite satisfying to shove all this stuff into the chipper and just watch it disappear into a pile of chips. It's also a much better use of the wood, because all this fallen wood used to go on the fire heap in the background there and just get burnt, and now we can use it for compost or on pathways and mulch in the garden, all sorts of things. So yeah, definitely a good thing. It speedily cleans up all the rubbish. Here's an example where that red bar in the front is working. Down is reverse, and then neutral and forward. I had a little build-up of small rubbish in behind the feed roller. It was sort of clattering around, and, or if you get something that jams, or if you look like you're going to get sucked in, as soon as you hit that red bar, it throws it into reverse. So it's not a bad feature, and it speeds things up if you're just going to have another go at a log that's bouncing around a bit. Of course, after a hard day's work, the best thing we can do for poor old girl is a good bath. I'll give it a real good suds off with the high pressure and get all the dust and wood chips, sawdust off, and then a quick rinse and tuck it away once again for another day. All good job done. Sorry about the wind noise here. I'll have to get a dead cat for the top of the camera, or a better microphone with one fitted to soften up the noise here. Well, this is the end result of all that chipping. This pile here used to be about a 3 metre high pile of branches and twigs from fallen trees and things we've had to drop. But as you can see, the chipper gives a really good result. These chips, the little twigs will break down by themselves, but these sort of chips will go into the compost and all go into the garden eventually, and will help it break down. Some of it we can put on pathways as well. Of course, one big job for the wood chipper coming up is going to be this dead wattle here, which is quite a mess and is going to come down in a million pieces. We're trying to very gradually get everything underway and all cleaned up and looking like this.